Hello everyone, Kyra Sedgwick is saying goodbye after the latest news on Kevin Bacon, and while headlines might make it sound dramatic or ominous, the truth is far more heartfelt, complex, and deeply human. Because what Kyra is actually stepping away from is not her marriage or her family or anything scandalous, but rather a chapter of her life that has defined her for decades. A chapter she's finally ready to close as Kevin's newest wave of success, projects, and public attention forces both of them to recalibrate what their life looks like going forward. And today we're diving into the emotional, historical, and surprisingly inspiring story behind this goodbye, how it connects to their decades-long partnership, and why it marks one of the most significant transitions in Kyra's personal and professional world. And to understand this shift, we need to go back to the beginning, because Kyra Sedgwick and Kevin Bacon are one of Hollywood's most enduring love stories. A couple who met in the 1980s, fell hard for each other, and built a life grounded not in fame, but in collaboration, stability, and an unwavering dedication to family. Which means every time one of them enters a major new chapter, the other is deeply affected. And that's exactly what's happening now as Kevin experiences a kind of late career renaissance, whether through major film roles, high-profile streaming projects, surprise music success with the Bacon brothers, or viral moments that bring him newly into the cultural spotlight. And Kyra, who has always been incredibly intentional about balancing her acting, directing, producing, and family responsibilities, is now openly reflecting on what she wants the next decade of her life to look like, leading her to say goodbye to a pace, a routine, and a career mindset that no longer serve her. And while fans might initially worry that this goodbye signals something negative, it's actually the opposite, because Kyra has spent years pouring herself into demanding roles like The Closer, directing multiple acclaimed projects, juggling motherhood, supporting Kevin's career, and simultaneously carving out an identity that is entirely her own. Yet with Kevin's latest news, his expanding creative commitments, new touring opportunities, and a growing need for flexibility, Kyra has realized she wants to step away from the non-stop grind of Hollywood schedules to embrace a new era defined by choice, creativity, intention, and presence, something she's been hinting at in interviews for years, but never fully embraced until now. And what makes this transition so powerful is that Kyra isn't walking away from Hollywood entirely. She's walking away from the pressure to constantly perform, constantly produce, constantly prove herself in an industry that raises the bar higher every year, meaning she's saying goodbye to the idea of having to do it all, replacing it with a more grounded, self-directed vision of her future, one that allows her to work when she wants, step back when she wants, pursue passion projects instead of mandatory ones, and travel or support Kevin without the stress of juggling overlapping commitments. And part of the beauty of this decision is the way Kevin Bacon fits into it, because while his renewed success could have created distance or tension in a less stable relationship, for Kyra it's almost liberating. His busy schedule and career momentum give her the freedom to redefine her own priorities without feeling like she is slowing them down as a couple. And instead, it becomes a dance they've mastered over nearly 40 years. One person steps forward while the other adjusts, supports, shifts, rebalances, and then they switch when the time is right. A rhythm built on mutual respect rather than competition. And as Kyra says goodbye to this previous chapter, she's also opening herself up to something she hasn't allowed in years: rest, curiosity, and a life driven by creativity rather than obligation, meaning she may direct more quietly, choose smaller indie projects with deeper meaning, take extended breaks to visit family, explore new artistic mediums, or even collaborate more frequently with Kevin, something she has always loved but rarely had the time to do consistently. And this shift is especially striking when you look at Kyra's personality. She's passionate, driven, meticulous, emotional, and profoundly connected to her work. So deciding to step back doesn't come from weakness or burnout, but from clarity, maturity, and a desire to write her own next chapter instead of letting Hollywood write it for her, which makes this goodbye not an ending, but an evolution. and fans have already noticed that the couple seems more relaxed, more playful, and more aligned than ever. Videos, public appearances, or interviews where they openly talk about aging, purpose, and redefining success, reinforcing the idea that Kyra's goodbye is not a retreat from career, but an embrace of life. Real life, deep life, the kind that exists beyond sound stages and red carpets. And with Kevin's latest news pushing him into a new era of opportunity, Kyra's choice to slow down, step back, and intentionally reorganize her priorities stands as a reminder that long-term relationships, especially in Hollywood, don't thrive because two people do the same thing at the same time, but because two people learn how to honor each other's seasons, support each other's transformations, and adapt without losing themselves. And in the end, Kyra Sedgwick saying goodbye after the latest news on Kevin Bacon isn't a warning sign, a crisis, or a breakup. It's a woman choosing peace, purpose, and self-direction at a moment when life is giving her permission to breathe, trusting that her marriage, her creativity, and her future will all be stronger for it, making this not a sad farewell, but a powerful reminder that sometimes the bravest thing you can do is let go of who you were in order to become who you're meant to be next. Thanks for watching.